Hey everybody, Mark Johnson here, founder and creative director of Able Ape Studios, dropping in with another movie review. The movie I'll be reviewing today is The King of Staten Island, a 2020 film release directed by Judd Apatow, written by Judd Apatow, Pete Davidson, and Dave Cyrus. Scott has been a case of arrested development since his firefighter dad died. He spends his days smoking weed and dreaming of being a tattoo artist, until events force him to grapple with his grief and take his first steps forward in life. This was a film that I'd seen the previous two, and I think at that time I was still watching Saturday Night Live pretty heavy, and I thought Pete Davidson was a good addition to the cast, but sometimes I didn't get his humor, understanding that he's dealing with a lot of mental and physical situations. I kind of grew to understand that. And I think also when he got to more in the spotlight, when he was dating Ariana Grande, and just kind of everyone around questioning how that happened, it really became more interesting to find out who this Pete Davidson person was and what he would have in the film. I say that because this film is kind of loosely based off of his own personal story. It's not, I wouldn't say it's directly based off of it, but I would believe that a lot of the stuff that is in the film he probably went through and had to deal with. So Pete Davidson plays Scott in this film, and like it says, he lost his firefighter dad at a young age, and he's still I wouldn't say necessarily acting out in the film, but more or less just having a hard time getting over it and finding what the next step is. Watch the film and you kind of get a better understanding of how he grew up. I think that was a good part of the film. Initially I probably thought this was going to be a raunchy stoner type movie, but as I watched it, kind of felt that this had a little bit more of a story. The kind of comedy that was being presented sometimes in the film I didn't get, whether that was because it was a East Coast thing, a firefighter thing, or a Staten Island thing. Some of it kind of just went past me, but on the second viewing I kind of better understood what was going on and kind of had a laugh at that point. To get to a few points where things start to get sticky. Scott's character is faced to, or is forced to face, some things that obviously he didn't expect, and another point maybe didn't want to have to deal with. One is his younger sister, who had been watching over him all the way up until her age to go to college, is going out to college, and now she's going to be concerned of her mom having to deal with Scott alone by herself, because she's not seen anyone. But as the movie progresses, now we get to a point where she's introduced to a romantic character, and now Scott has to deal with that. And as it turns out, the relationship doesn't go necessarily the way we expect it to go straight off, but what we end up having is a bonding, an opportunity for Scott to progress as he gets connected with people who were firefighters themselves, and they can kind of tell him stories about his dad. So this film is about 2 hours long, maybe it's a little bit over 2 hours, and that 2 hours is used wisely, or used well. I don't feel the film is too long. I don't feel the film drags on at any point. We get to a point where things kind of get to repair, and we have I would say I don't want to give the ending away, but an ending that is inspiring, and so I feel pretty good about that, getting to that point, going through the amount of story that we've gone through that was kind of not necessarily rough to deal with, but for the character himself, tough to go through. So in the end, I feel that The King of Staten Island, a 2020 film release, directed by Judd Apatow, written by Judd Apatow, Pete Davidson, and Dave Cyrus, I feel there's some good elements to this film. I don't necessarily feel like I know Pete Davidson any better, but I think that I can, having lost someone myself, I can understand the things that he went through in the film, and it felt authentic, and I like that. I felt that the film, as much as I thought it was going to be a raunchy, stoner type of film, it really had a good heart to it, and that it really told a story that showed progression throughout. So for this film, I'm going to give it a 3.75 star out of 5. I didn't think it was quite necessarily a solid 4, and I think a 3.75 from my standpoint is a good a good rating. I think it's an interesting film. Throughout I watched the film and was interested. Again, my initial thinking was it was going to be a stoner type film, a raunchy type film, but it turned out to be a film that had a good heart and that tells an interesting story and that people, I feel, can relate to. So that has been my review for The King of Staten Island, a 2020 film release, directed by Judd Apatow, written by Judd Apatow, Pete Davidson, and Dave Cyrus. If you like this review, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you have any comments, questions, or anything you would like to share based on this film or other films that you think I should review, make sure to leave those in the comment box below. And then lastly, if you want to be updated whenever I have a post dropping, make sure to ring that bell. So that has been my review for The King of Staten Island, a 2020 film release. And like we always do this time, have a blessed day. I will see you on the flip side. Let's go.